Welcome back you guys, I'm EFC, this is Blue Line TV, and welcome to today's news daily video. Now today, we have a ton of big stories to talk about. I'll be speaking about the latest surrounding Olivier Giroud, I'll be speaking about the two big stories on David Alaba and Gabriel Barbosa, and to end things, I'll be speaking about the club's interest in Croatia's next best young thing. But before I get into anything, if you do like today's video, smash that like button. Help me get over 2,000 likes for today's video. And of course, you guys, now that the 50th anniversary kit has been released and launched, if you guys want to buy it for yourself, I'd really appreciate it if you could use my affiliate link below. You'll find it in the description below, and as I said you guys, you can get a 10% off discount if you use my code NEYMAR10. But without wasting any more time, we get straight into the first story for today, and I'm going to start off by talking about the latest surrounding Olivier Giroud. Now reports are suggesting that Newcastle are another club that have entered the race to sign Olivier Giroud. Obviously Newcastle are struggling up front this year. Joelinton, who cost them £40 million, has only got one goal, and he clearly needs to adjust and adapt to the league. Reports state that Giroud is potentially interested in making the move up north, playing alongside guys like St. Maximin, Almiron and others. They're a decent club that could grow, and of course being on decent money as well, getting to still play in the Premier League, this could make sense for Olivier Giroud. It's so obvious right now that he most likely won't play any more games. He doesn't really complement the system that Lampard wants, and it seems like we do have plans to get rid of him. But where Giroud does go is going to be the most interesting thing, because we know that Inter Milan have had long-standing interest in the player. We know that Lyon are another club that have had long-standing interest in the player. We've seen reports earlier over the past week that we offered Giroud plus money for the signing of Moussa Dembele. Well, it looks like we're doing the most obvious thing and applying that same principle with Inter Milan. Reports are stating that if we let Giroud sign for Inter Milan, we'll waive off the signing fee for the player, meaning that negotiations to sign Gabriel Barbosa will be a lot smoother and a lot easier. And I'm actually just thinking even more ahead. This could be the best possible news. And the reason for this is that if Giroud is going to cost Inter absolutely nothing, this could give them even more incentive to sign Marcos Alonso. Think about it, you guys, if you're signing Gabriel Barbosa for about 30 million, we want that same amount of money for Marcos Alonso. If we give Inter Milan and sweeten the deal by giving them a free Olivier Giroud plus the money to sign Marcos Alonso, we are killing two birds with one stone. It's typical Marina madness. She is by far one of the best business people in football. I love how she does business, I love how she thinks ahead, and she's always thinking of what's best for us and also for the other clubs as well. And this for me, you guys, is the most obvious thing to do to get this deal for Barbosa concluded. And on that note, because I've been speaking about Gabriel for so long now, let's move into the second story for today, and that's the latest surrounding Gabriel Barbosa from Flamenco. Now, something was released by Flamenco's social media team today, but for me to give you guys some more context, this wasn't actually from the official club account. This is more from a media affiliate of Flamenco. And of course, they were just covering the story of the reports coming out from Italy suggesting that we want Gabigol and we're looking to sell. But anyway, Gabriel Barbosa, very interesting player. It's quite obvious that he was part of the shortlist, but quite maybe lower down. Let's be serious. It was obvious that we weren't going to sign Moussa Dembele, with Lyon actually releasing an official statement stating that they are not looking to sell the player in this period. And of course, Werner wants to try and win a league with RB Leipzig, so why would he leave them right now when they're so close to actually achieving something at the end of this season? So this is where I feel Gabriel Barbosa makes even more sense. Now you guys, apply the example I gave for the first story for today, that Giroud one. If you've already forgotten what I've said, I said that we're basically giving Inter Milan free money to sign Marcos Alonso by giving them Giroud as a sweetener to the deal by signing Gabriel Barbosa. It makes a lot of sense, and in January when you can't really complete too many ambitious deals, something like this is probably the best for both worlds. If this deal was to be concluded in a manner like this, it effectively means that there's no risk to the signing. Now, let's say that Gabriel Barbosa doesn't really have the impact we're hoping for. I know that with the fan base right now, there are some doubts in regards to his credentials. He's failed with Inter Milan and Benfica, even though there is a lot more to the story than just that. But of course, You guys will hear more of my thoughts later this week in a special where I'll just focus on Gabriel Barbosa. There's a lot to speak about. I want to talk about how he's going to fit the team, how we can use him, how he actually plays, how he's going to benefit the team, pros and cons. I'll have all the information you need. But to continue on, with the fan base having doubts in regards to the player, especially after still feeling burned by Alexander Pato and how he really failed during his loan spell with the club, I can understand why there could be some reservations. But when you just really analyze how this deal will work, well, the risk is basically gone. Number one, let's say that Gabigol does flop. Well, he's already let us know that he's a player where a lot of clubs will always be interested in taking him on loan. We've seen with the loan army previously that we've made a lot of money. We know how to make money using the loan army. So over time, we're not really risking too much money signing the player because his prize fee isn't going to cost that much. Under 30 million euros. In today's market, a deal like this is pretty good, especially when it comes to taking a risk on a player that you don't know how he's going to perform, but he's worth taking the gamble purely based on the finances behind it. But let me not just focus entirely on the business side of the deal. Gabriel Barbosa for me is a player that went back home, he humbled himself, and he worked on fine-tuning his game. When he was much younger, when he was a prodigy at 16 years old, seen as the new Neymar, he was a much more skillful player that played a lot more selfishly. These days, Barbosa has really matured. He's grown a lot more and he suits playing up front as a striker where he's really honed and refined his skill set. He scored 43 goals in 59 games last season. He scores goals in the big games as well. He won the Copa Libertadores. He's the reason. The Copa Libertadores. Honestly, I don't know why I'm been struggling with that word, you guys. And yeah, even though I understand that part of the world's football isn't of the same quality and level of the Premier League, I think Barbosa is worth taking that gamble and risk. He's 23. He has a left foot in which we need. He does complement the system. Every single player we've looked at fits the system perfectly, so there's no doubts when it comes to that. And he's someone that can play up front with others or play up front by himself. With Gabigol releasing a cryptic tweet suggesting that he could be leaving Flamengo, well, currently it's us and Flamengo fighting it out to sign the player. We have the advantage. Gabigol is ready for the next stage in his career. He's young, he's hungry, and financially, he basically costs us nothing. I think he could be quite an interesting player, and I'm willing to give this signing a go. Now, before I keep things moving to the second story for the day, let me end this Gabigol news on a hypothetical. Now, let's say Inter Milan are in fact making up the transfer interest, generating fake buzz for the player, making up stories that we are interested in Gabigol because they want the hype. They want the hype because they want to garner interest in a player that they've been hoping to sell for years now and reinvest those funds into a left wing back, because that is what Inter Milan need desperately right now. That is an area in which they are very weakened in right now because Asamoah has been constantly injured this season. And maybe this is Inter Milan's transfer tactic to put pressure on us to let go of Marcos Alonso. Now consider that piece of news, you guys, because there is a reality. Let's say that we do sign Gabigol. With how the Brazilian league just ended not too long ago, it means that he's currently on his off season, meaning that he will need a bit of a pre-season period which he won't get if he signs for us right now. This was the major reason why Pato failed during his loan spell, but who knows, you guys. And I'm not going to say anything else on this story. Now we move on to the second story for the day, and it's time to talk about David Alaba links. Now these reports came out late last night from Germany, and they're suggesting that we're monitoring the player who has 18 months left on his current deal. He would cost about 60 million euros, and it's David Alaba, you guys, one of the best fullbacks in the world. And it's got me thinking, why are we potentially looking at an Alaba? Well, obviously it's because, if we don't sign Ben, we need to have a backup plan. It's so obvious. It's how football's always going to be. And if Ben wasn't signed, then the backups are of Alaba, Telles, Tagliafico. Great left backs like this. But it does get me thinking, why is Ben even the main priority in the first place? But anyway, getting back to the Alaba news. News came out earlier today, not too long ago actually, just a few hours ago, from Bayern's new manager, and he said that they are not looking to sell Alaba at all in this window. And this would make a lot of sense. Let's not forget last season, you guys, last window, Bayern Munich did the most to try and sign Hudson-Odoi, and it got them nowhere. So I can't imagine them selling one of their key players, especially when they've had so many injury problems as well. When Alaba's been filling in positions, playing as a left back, playing in midfield, playing as a centre back. He's a player that they cannot afford to miss out on right now. But I love that the club are ambitious with their targets, with the football we're playing, the area in which the club's in as well, the money we have, the manager we have as well, the football we play. We have all of these amazing qualities that become a lot more attractive to players. And I think with how aggressive the club are currently with, trying to sign a left back, it's only telling your Emersons or your Marcos Alonso's, listen, if you don't commit or if we don't want you, you're gonna go. It's as simple as that. And Alaba, if he was to come, it would be an incredible signing. The guy is still a great player, especially with how we play. Amazing quality out wide on the left. That's what we need. And when I look at how our fullbacks link up with the wingers, I see that Reece does an amazing job doing that with Willian or Hudson-Odoi today. But down that left-hand side, Alonso, and with an Emerson right now whose form isn't too great, whose confidence isn't too high right now, he isn't really doing too much in the final third. So what can a Pulisic do? What can a Willian do? What can a Hudson-Odoi do? It makes sense why we're looking to sign a big left back in one of the next windows, you guys. But on that note, I'm going to end things with the final story for today, and that's in regards to Goal.com report suggesting that we are looking at Dynamo Zagreb's young Croatian wonder kids, Antonio Marin, who happens to play as a winger. Now, the club have been monitoring the player for a long time right now, and Marin actually started against our academy not too long ago, getting a few goals in the game and just being absolutely unplayable. Since then, he's gone on to play against a lot of other British academy groups, completely dominating against them as well. Marin isn't the only player that we're looking at from Dynamo Zagreb. Dani Olmo, the young Spanish international attacking midfield player who has had a big reputation across Europe for a long time now, especially with all the scouts and coaches. Reports have been saying over the past few days that we have been actively pursuing the player and looking at him. But with Barcelona now the favourites to sign Dani Olmo in this window, well, it seems like the club don't want to leave Zagreb without anything to show. Now, I keep things real. I don't really know anything about the player. I've been reading some articles and trying to get an understanding of what he does, but of course you guys, you can just make your own opinions from the clips beside me. But with reports that a lot of big clubs in this country have been pursuing the player, with how he might cost us nothing, and with how we don't know what the future plans are going to be for the loan army, could Marin be part of them? He's been seen as a Balkan Neymar, and anytime any players like him in Neymar, then I think we have to pay this player some attention. But you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up now and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm the FC. This is Blue Lions TV. Signing out.